I'll tell you how the murder took place. I'll narrate the events for you. And according to all of the available evidence, this is pretty much what happened. Schmar, the murderer, took up his post at 9 p.m. on a brilliantly moonlit night. He stationed himself in an alleyway where two streets joined at right angles. Wisa, the victim, had his office on one street and his home was on the other street. Mrs. Wisa was anxiously waiting for him at home. Palace, the citizen, was on his balcony across the street from Schmar, and he saw all of the action. Why did Palace raise no outcry? Ah, the mysteries of human nature. Schmar was warm. The night itself was freezing, but Schmar was hot. He was moving about constantly, and he examined the blade of his knife, trying to catch the gleam of the moonlight. Then, not satisfied with that, he raised his knife over his head and struck down on the pavement, striking sparks off the knife. But then he thought better of it and leaned over and scraped the knife on his shoe. He stayed in that position for quite a while, listening intently for Wisa's footsteps. Wisa worked late in his office, and his wife was so disturbed that she came to her front door. She was wearing her nightgown and her fox fur coat. Schmar thought he knew what to expect. He thought he knew what cutting someone in the throat would be like. He felt that it would be a matter of tilting back the chin, striking deeply into the throat, and then there would be a great gout of blood, a great rush of blood, and then he would see a cross-hatching of little gray veins and little gray tendons and little pieces of meat, rather like looking into a sliced open turkey leg. The night, as I said, was extremely cold, but Schmar was so warm that he turned to the wall and put his hands and face against the wall to cool himself, all the time listening for Wisa's footsteps. Palace stood on his balcony, girt in his dressing robe, shaking his head. The night bell of Wisa's office announced Wisa's arrival onto the street. The bell was louder than an ordinary bell. It sounded up into the heavens, and Schmar became excited. He crouched almost double. He was waiting for Wisa to come down the alley. Wisa just strolled along down the alley, down the street, looking up at the night sky, looking up at the purple and gold of the night sky. And when he got to the corner, he scratched his head. His cane went around the corner first. Wisa looked up into the sky, but the configurations of the heavens gave him no clue of what was to happen to him. And it was entirely reasonable that he should go around the corner and walk down the street. And Wisa, being a reasonable man, did the reasonable thing, walked around the corner, but he walked into Schmar's knife. Wisa! Wisa! You'll never see Julia again! And right into the throat! And left into the throat! And down into the belly! And up! Sewer rats being slit open make such a noise as Wisa made, the noise of escaping sewer gas. And that was it. The relief, the thrill of murder, the joy that comes from killing another human being. Wisa, old friend, old neighbor, old alehouse crony. There you lie, your life oozing out of you into the dirt of the street. Why can't you be a bladder full of blood so that I could stamp you into oblivion? All of our dreams don't come true. And all the dreams that blossom don't bear fruit. And with that, Schmar threw his knife away.
Wisa! Wisa! There you lie, insensible even to the kicks, and what's the use of the mute question that you're asking?
With that, Pallas, on the balcony, decided to make an outcry. He was moved by the poisons that had accumulated within his body.
Schmar! Schmar! I saw the whole thing from up here! I saw the whole thing from my balcony!
Schmar scrutinized Pallas, and Pallas scrutinized Schmar. Pallas was satisfied with the results of his scrutiny. Schmar had no opinion. Then Mrs. Wisa came running down the street, her fox fur coat billowing out behind her, with neighbors running along behind her on both sides of the street. She threw herself sobbing on Wisa's body. Her nightgown body belonged to Wisa. Her fur coat, which spread like the turf of the grave over both of them, belonged to the crowd. And Schmar, fighting down the last of his nausea, leaned his face into the shoulder of the policeman who, walking with light footsteps, led him away.